What's good? What's good, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Sunday. Happy football Sunday morning. Good morning to everybody. And it's week three of the NFL. Week three is very interesting. Usually some teams already, 0-2. Some teams 2-0. Some teams already in must-win situations. So we're going to talk about it. Week three is the toughest week so far as lines is concerned. From what I've seen, a lot of games are tough as far as like the point spreads. So what we're gonna do today, me and D Free, we're gonna do our picks. We'll go over last week's picks real quick. Your boy Tom, that's me, had a great week. I went 3-0 last week. If you guys weren't paying attention, then you lost out on some bread. If you were paying attention and you followed my picks, then you made some bread. It's as simple as that. I went 3-0 last week. I believe D Free. I believe you went 2-1. I don't know how you did in the sleeper app, but as far as the picks you'd made last week, on the air, you went 2-1. You took Buffalo, which won comfortably. They won way more than 6.5. You also took the Bengals in a tough game. Minus 3.5. They won by 4. And actually you went 3-0. You had the Ravens 11.5. So I don't know on the sleeper app. You're only 4-0 altogether. So I don't know if you had a bad first week or if you picked different picks. But according to the picks I wrote down, you went 3-0 last week. Steve
Yeah, no,
Friedel.
on the sleeper app, on the sleeper app, my first week I went 1-2. I went 1-2
Okay.
on the sleeper app, and then last week I went 3-0. So I
Okay.
went 3-0 last week. I only won one game in the first week, but I'm still in the top. I'm still up there.
Yeah, yeah.
In
We only pick 3 games a week, and the first week I only had one win as well. I think I had a push. I think I had a tie in week one. I think 1-1-1, but I went 3-0 last week as well. So shout out to my man Shelton LDBC or nothing reloaded. He says, "How you doing, Paisan? Hey, Paulie. Hey." That's a little inside joke between me and Shelton and a bunch of other family members who I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, there's a little inside joke and a little Italian joke. Hey. But yeah, back to the football. I want to try to do this quick, but yeah, you went 3-0. I went 3-0. I've had the Giants last week. They covered the spread. I'm gonna just pull up the sleeper app now. Um, Let me just go. Give me a second. I know I went 3-0 as well. Give me a second. I don't know. The sleeper app is it's a little funny. Hold on one second. So when I go to the pick'ems, right, and then I go to week two, I went the Chargers last week as well. Had the Giants and I had Baltimore. We both had Baltimore. We both took Baltimore and they won in an easy blowout last week. So and then look at this guy, Mac motherfucking Joe. So no, Purdy was pretty good, but now it's Mac motherfucking Joe's. Yeah, the fucking 49ers are 2-0 as well. I hate the Niners. Another person that went 3-0 last week, surprisingly, BVO. BVO Sports took the Rams, the Lions, and the Bengals. So he went 3-0. Shout out to him. Shout out to my man, Just Axe Juan. Juan, only one Juan today, so no Juan plus Juan, but it's Just Axe Juan. Salute to you, Juan. And yeah, BVO also went 3-0. Sock had a bad week. He went 1-2. He gave me his picks to talk about him on the air as well. And Marky Dan, the one that talks the most basura, went 1-2 as well. He only won with his bandwagon team, the Eagles, and he lost with the Jaguars and the Cardinals. So with that being said, we're gonna go into our picks this week. It's a tough week. I'm gonna go into my first pick, D3, because I don't know about you if you saw the lines. It's tough. I don't like the lines. I like a lot of underdogs this week just because I like getting the points. Um, so let me lead off. I'm gonna give you my first game this week, and I'm in week 4. That's why I like a dummy. Oh, it didn't. My pick. Okay, I like Carolina. I like Carolina getting the points today. Carolina getting 4.5 at home, playing the Falcons, who played in a tough defensive game Sunday night. Coming into Carolina. Um, what you call it? I think Carolina played had a good game last week as far as the quarterback play. Um, I just like them with the points at home. I mean, the Falcons have been a little bit too inconsistent. I think the Falcons are a very good team. The first week they fell short. They should have won first week. Not that the Falcons can't win this game, but I'll take the 4.5 points. I think the Falcons could probably win a close game anywhere between 1 and 3. Therefore, Carolina covers. So that's my first pick of the week. So I'm gonna just book that in real quick. And sorry everybody if I'm going a little too fast. I want to try to get the picks in because I want to catch this game at 11 o'clock, the soccer game I want to watch, and I got to do my fantasy picks and all that. So that's my first pick, D Free. Where you're at? Let me do the banner.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have the lines up, do you?
No, I didn't get the lines up. I just going off the sleeper app. So
Uh,
if
so
you tell me a game, I'll give you the lines.
what is the line for um, Kansas City versus the Giants?
Kansas City is favored 5.5 versus the Giants.
5.5 over the Giants. Give me Kansas City.
So I'm gonna put Kansas City KC minus 5.5. Let me just put this on the board. So this KC minus 5.5. Any particular reason why this game is in the Meadowlands or in what is it, MetLife? That's what they call it. In MetLife at Giants Stadium. The Giants played a great offensive game last week. The defense that we've been very high about, well, at least I've been very high about, did not show up last week. So, what's your reason for Kansas City coming in and covering the spread? Because Kansas City has not looked great.
No, I'm picking Kansas City because they they haven't won a game. They're due for a win. This is the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career he started the season 0-2. Um, and I think it's a little bit of controversy far as who's going to be the starting quarterback in New York, and I think those going to play a part in this game is gonna come down. They might have a little bit of merge around with the quarterbacks in this game because I think if Russell Wilson gets off to a slow start, they might go to Jackson Dart because a lot of the fans are calling for Jackson Dart. So I'm gonna go with Kansas City because I think they do for a win, and I think they're gonna they got to win convincingly because it looked like the changing of the guard is going down in the AFC West, or should I say the AFC North? I can't remember exactly which division that is. That's the Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's the AFC West.
AFC West, yeah. Okay, all right. Give me a second. I got one. I'm gonna do Sox pick, which is gonna maybe make you make a pick. He's gonna go to Washington D.C. He's going to the Raiders at Washington, right? So that's you versus Sock today.
Hmm.
Socrates and his Raiders are coming down to DC to take on D Free and his Commanders. And Sock has gave me the pick, and I'm gonna write it down here. This is Sock's pick. He's taking, and as you would imagine he would do so. Sock is taking the Raiders plus 3.5. The Raiders plus 3.5 versus Washington. D Free,
Huh.
what do you got on that? Because Sock is not here to defend and talk about his Raiders who have looked. I thought they looked atrocious last week. I thought the Chargers should have won by like 50 last week with all the mistakes the Raiders made. Gino looked terrible in that game. I just don't see how he picks this game except for the fact that your quarterback is out this week.
Yeah, and that's what Sock is baking on. He baking on the fact that Jaden Daniels is out. But what Sock forgot to realize is Marcus Mariota knows that offense probably better than Jaden Daniels. And the two games that Marcus Mariota came in, he looked great. He came in the Carolina game pretty much the entire game because Jaden Daniels went down after the first series, and he routed the Carolina Panthers, and then he came in for the last game against the Cowboys, and he beat the Cowboys. Um, Marcus Mariota, he got some weapons. He got an additional weapon with Debo there because Debo is doing what I told everybody Debo was going to do. He's not going to look like the Debo y'all saw last year. He got a chip on his shoulder, and so I think I think Washington is going to cover that spread. I think Washington's going to beat. They're going to beat the Raiders by a touchdown.
Okay. By a touchdown. Wow, I think it could be bigger than that. Geno's looked terrible. I straight up and down. He looked bad. I mean, decision making. Brock Bowers looks a little banged up. Don't know what he's looking like today. I gotta imagine he's definitely going to start, but not sure. If he's 100%. Salute to my man DP Rocker in the building. Salute. Big Bengals fan. Just lost his quarterback for a few months. Um, Not sure how the Bengals are going to do with that. That backup quarterback is not that bad. He's kind of a gunslinger if you think about it. He tries to force the ball in there. I like those kind of quarterbacks because they have no fear, right? But they could lead you in a lot of trouble with the interceptions, which I believe he threw a couple last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the problem with the Bengals is not the offense; it's their defense.
Yeah,
Their offense is high power. Their defense can't stop nobody.
they could have stopped me, you, and Sock in a two-hand touch league.
You're right. They couldn't stop my grandson's Pop Warner lead. They can't stop anybody.
They're going against the Vikings today in Minnesota, who also has to go with a backup quarterback, but a veteran quarterback in Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is the quarterback, starting quarterback today. As somebody's ringing my doorbell, and I will not be answering the bell.
Yeah.
Give me one second. Just
I
click
got
on
the
this while
Bengals
I look at.
probably
Yeah.
I got the Bengals probably routing the Vikings because of the fact that they're going to have Carson Wentz and he's not going to be able to sustain a lot of drives. He's going to do good at times, but I don't think he's going to do good for a long period of time.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think, but in that offense, the Vikings offense, that's why I was so high on McCarthy this year. I think in that offense, with the weapons that they got, I mean, they don't have Addison yet. Addison comes back, I believe, next week. This is his last week of his suspension. They got a lot of weapons. The running game is a little bit like kind of, I think Jones is out, but I don't think he was much of a factor anyway. It's more been their receivers and the
Right.
offense, the type of offense that they play. So I think Carson Wentz will be in a position to win and put up points against that defense. And and he's good with his legs too. So if you're talking about the running game with the Vikings, I mean, he'll help the running game with his legs as well. So we'll see about that. But I'm not going there. I'm not going Bears. So it's my turn to make a pick, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be a homer today. Like I said, this week was tough, and I'm going to go with my team. My team has played well the first 2 weeks. It's unfortunate the first week they lost. I thought they outplayed San Francisco, pretty much, three quarters out of four. Bad play calling. I thought, a couple of dumb mistakes, but the defense for Seattle has been very, very solid. They're going to give up a lot of yards, but they're going to limit you to getting in the end zone. I thought Seattle's defense was great last week. Mind you, it's a Pittsburgh team that we both think that is not as good as previous years. I think we both said Pittsburgh is not going to win like 6 or 7 games. In the first week, Pittsburgh should have lost to the Jets, and they didn't. But either way, their defense, Seattle's defense, has been solid, very solid. They didn't have Witherspoon last week, and it was still solid. So this week, I like them at home against a Saints team that's just, let's face it, they're not a good team. They don't have a good quarterback. The quarterback Rattlers is a bit shaky. They have some weapons on offense, but they're coming into Seattle. Seattle hasn't blown out a team in a while. I think this is the week they do it. I think Darnold would have a great game today. I like Seattle to win big. The spread is 7.5 points. So Seattle is 7.5 favorites. And let me write that on the board. Seahawks minus 7.5. I think they win by 2 touchdowns today. No cap. Not because it's my team, but they play in the Saints. So Seattle is at home, favorite 7.5 versus the Saints. I love them this week. I love them to win big. Kenneth Walker looked great last week. Been looking for that Kenneth Walker for a while. I think you see more of that this week as well. I like Seattle big. I like Seattle to win by at least 14 points.
Mm. You feeling real confident. You got your chest poked out
Oh,
right now.
I do. I'll be disappointed though if they don't cover. I'll be more disappointed if they lost outright. But yeah, I love this game a lot. So I like that's my second pick. So I got Carolina and the Seahawks. Those are two of my picks. You're on the clock. What do you like this week? And if you need the lines, I'll give you the
Uh,
lines.
this week, who is Cleveland playing against, and what's the spread?
Uh, it doesn't matter. I think they're playing Green Bay. and I think they're at home. So Green Bay is favored 9.5.
Give me Green Bay.
Packers minus 9.5. Um, Let me just write that in. Any particular reason why, except for besides the obvious?
Well, the thing is with the Cleveland Browns, they can't put up any points. They got a good defense, but that defense is on the field too much. So it doesn't matter how good the defense is. If they can't get off the field, they gonna get worn down. And so with that offense that Cleveland has, I don't see them putting up much of a fight. And then you got Green Bay, who right now a lot of people saying is arguably the best team in the NFC. So you got one of the weakest teams in the AFC going against one of the strongest team in the NFC. It makes for a huge rout. Somebody's going to get either somebody's going to get routed or somebody's going to get let down badly.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. Only thing is that the Browns, at home, they play a little bit better at home, especially early in the season where the fans actually show up to the games. So I sort of think this is a tough game. I think the Packers definitely will win the game, but I think possibly could be closer than what people think. But the Packers by far are the better team overall. There's a lot of inconsistent play from Love though. I have to say that I Love has not been as consistent. So with the Browns defense, they can force Love into making some mistakes. But 9.5 is a lot of points. That's a touchdown and a field goal they have to win by. They are the better team, but remember when you travel in the NFL, on the road is road wins are no easy wins. You know what I'm saying? Usually not. Especially early in the season where fans are still, they still care about their team and showing up for the games, to get their team riled up. So, but that's your pick. Packers 9.5. I don't particularly like it. I think it's cover. I think it's coverable, but I definitely not one of my three picks this week. So that's your second pick. Let's go to Sock's pick. Sock likes the Rams plus 3.5 at the Eagles at Philadelphia. This is a playoff rematch in a great playoff game last year. I believe they were playing in the snow. It was slipping and sliding. The Rams made a lot of mistakes and still had a chance to win. Um, the Rams are going to be pumped up for this game. I like this pick. I like this pick because I like getting the points. I like getting 3.5. I like, that's more than a field goal. I can see this game being a field goal game. I can still see the Eagles still winning this game outright, but maybe just winning by 3. So I like getting the points here. That's not a bad pick by Socrates. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say in the chat or D Free. What do you think?
I think that's a good pick because what nobody has talked about, and it kind of went under the carpet because they have been winning, but Jalen Hurts is the only starting quarterback in the NFL has not thrown for 400 yards and he has not thrown a touchdown the entire season. The first game he threw for 100 and I think 115. The second game he threw for like 180, I think 180 yards or 150 yards, and he has not thrown a touchdown in neither one of those games. So this man, he hasn't. He's the only starting quarterback in the league that hasn't thrown a touchdown.
Hmm. Okay, I didn't know that. I know he's ran for a couple, maybe
Yeah,
even more than that. But yeah, that's very interesting. AJ Brown has been MIA. I mean, is he still on the team? So I mean,
he probably won't be for long.
but yeah, but the Eagles, rely heavily on the running game and and the legs of Jalen Hurts. The Rams defense is not as bad. BVO says that he's trash. Salute to BVO. Salute to my man Ron. And salute to B3 Picks in the building. Ronald says he also likes the Packers to cover the spread as well. Um, I don't know. I think this is a good game. This is going to have playoff matchup. I think the Rams got something they want to prove today. I just don't think they get it done as far as winning the game in Philadelphia. But I can see this game. I can see them covering the spread. This is definitely going to be a back and forth defensive struggle. Stafford can't make no mistakes this game. So we'll see. I like this game. That's a good pick by Sock. 3.5. I'm not touching it because there could be a backdoor cover at the end of the game with the Eagles. So I'm going to stay away, but that's not a bad pick. So instead of me not taking the Eagles, my third pick, I went to a trash game that might be highly a lot of offense. I like the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are favorite at home by 2 points over the Dallas Cowboys. Let me
Mm.
write that in. I like Chicago. Chicago, they haven't looked too good. They're 0-2, looking for a win at home. And Dallas to me is just not that good defensively. They haven't looked as good except the first game, but we already talked about the Eagles' struggle, so that's what they play the Eagles in Philly. Um, Chicago at home by 2 against the Dallas team. Defense has been struggling. Chicago offense been a little bit too inconsistent. I think Chicago offense shows up today. I like this as a high scoring game. I don't know what the over under is, but I like the over in this game. I could see this going way over 50 points. I'll be shocked if it's a defensive struggle, but I like Chicago. I like Chicago to win by a touchdown here. I don't think Dallas is as good. The Giants should have won that game. They blew it. I do, thank God for special teams, right? That kicker for Dallas, kicking like 100-yard field goals. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
um, it's going to be a little bit different today, outdoors in Chicago, the Windy City. I like Chicago to win. 2 points is nothing to me. Win by a field goal, and I'm good money. I'm just going on the fact that this is a tough week. I'm going with the home team and two teams that are not as good, and Chicago needing to win badly, being 0-2. So that's the reason for this pick. I'm taking Chicago -2. I think they could win by a touchdown here in a high scoring game.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. Chicago is the exact opposite of the Cincinnati Bengals. They got a good defense, but their offense be struggling.
Yep.
They're the exact opposite of the Cincinnati Bengals. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a high scoring game because, like I said, when you have a good defense and your offense is struggling, that good defense turns into a bad defense because they spending too much time on the field and they getting tired. So I wouldn't be surprised. Dallas, it seems like Dallas defense has been slowly going downhill ever since they lost Dan Quinn. And now that they just lost Michael Parsons, it seemed like it took even more of a hit. Like they said, they couldn't stop the run because of Michael Parsons. Now they can't stop the run or the pass.
Mm, okay. Well, BBO Sports has put his picks in the chat. He's going, 2 games we already discussed. He's going with you with Kansas City. He's going with you with the Packers too. I think you both took the Packers at KC. So BVO and D Free got 2 picks in common. The third pick he was going against me. He's taking the Cowboys +2. So BVO taking picks that we picked. That's great, especially for the standing. So we go against each other. Um, okay, D Free, your third and final pick.
My third and final pick. Um, who who is Baltimore playing Monday night again?
Oh, the Lions, and they're favored by like 6.5. They're favorite.
My bad. Who's Baltimore playing Monday night again?
Baltimore's favorite 6.5 at home versus the Lions.
6.5 at home versus the Lions. Baltimore will be giving up games in the fourth quarter, and they'll squeak out a win because their defense held on just long enough to end the game. Uh, I can't depend on them because Detroit still score. I can't depend on Baltimore defense. For some reason, Baltimore defense in the beginning of the season is trash in the beginning of the season. Um,
Yeah, they give up a lot of points and yards.
yeah. Who? I mean, Buffalo already played. They played against Miami. Um, who's the Jets playing?
The Jets are playing at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's favorite 7.5.
You said how much and a half?
7.5.
Give me Tampa Bay.
Oh, you like them big spreads. D
No,
Free taking the Bucks.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because Tampa, I mean, the Jets doesn't have, they don't have Justin Fields. Justin Fields is out. Um, they was already their offense was already struggling with Justin Fields. Now their number one quarterback is out of the game. Um, I don't see them putting up much of a resistance, and their defense hasn't been that stout defense that they had a year ago. Their defense been giving up a lot of points. They've been giving up a lot of big plays, and I like the rookie that Tampa Bay got. My wide receiver that I got in the draft. He's been playing
Ibuka.
very well. Yeah, he's been playing very
He's
well.
banged up. He was questionable, but they said he will suit up and play.
Yeah, I don't have him playing this week in my fantasy because I'm going against Marky Dad. So I said, let me put some of my strong people on the bench and give them some rest because I'm playing against Marky
The disrespect is great.
but yeah, so I like, and I don't, I don't I don't know what it is about Baker Mayfield, but Baker Mayfield became into starting to become a. He's trying to make a run for being a considered as an elite quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah, he's off to a great start. I mean, he had a great year last year. He had Pro Bowl numbers last year. I don't know if he made the Pro Bowl, but he had Pro Bowl numbers. Baker's been pretty solid. I mean, to me underrated. A lot of people look at Baker, from when he was with Cleveland, but it's a different Baker in Tampa Bay. He
Hmm.
airs the ball out. He's still, he's a bit of a gunslinger as well. He does make dumb turnovers at times, but Baker's been very very solid. You know what I'm saying? And and he's gotten Tampa Bay to the playoffs last year. So I mean, hey, Tampa Bay at home is pretty good. Ibuka's a little banged up. I mean, Ibuka's pretty much touchdown to nothing. He hasn't really got the yardage yet.
Yeah,
But definitely great talent. I don't know if Godwin is going to be playing today, because Godwin has been out. Tampa Bay has some weapons. The Jets, I just never know with this Jets team, man. That's why I stay away from these games because I just don't know with the Jets. I know the Jets are not really a good team, but I stay away from games like this.
this,
But
this is this is the reason why I be in the top of the picks, and you you be somewhere mediocre in the picks. Scared money don't make money.
well, we'll see because this is only week three, D free, and we're both 4-0. We both got 4 wins, and we're both tied in the first place, I think, in the league. So
Yeah,
we're gonna start to separate a little bit, and we're gonna see where this shit talking lands you, and where the people put their money on because the people are watching right now, and let's see what they're taking. We both went 3-0 last week, so you know what. I can't clown you. You can't clown me. We had great weeks, but let's see what happens this week,
hey,
right?
the
So,
people, the people been following us for the last couple of years. They know my picks usually hit.
oh man. Well, I think we always finish over 500, but this week we're going to keep a definite better track of it this year. So the sleeper app is going to help us keep track of it because we don't have to go back and remember it. It's all in the app, and we can always go back and look at the picks. So let's go to Sock's last pick. Sock is going to take the Steelers -1.5 at
I'm
New
glad you.
England at the Patriots.
I'm glad you said the speaker. I wasn't. I'm not even sure if I made my picks for the
You
speaker.
better make your picks now so you don't, I don't clown you next week going 0-3. So, but Sock is taking the Steelers -1.5 at Pittsburgh. I don't like this game. I don't like this pick. I'm high in the Patriots as far as the defense, and I like May. The Steelers to me are not a good team. Seattle smoked them last week. They should have lost week one. Rodgers has not looked great at all. I think this is it for Rodgers. This is probably his last year. I don't like this. I don't like the Steelers even being favored at New England. I think the Patriots should be favored at home. Unless I wrote
Hmm.
that down wrong, I'm going to double check. Nope, the Patriots are getting points at home. I like the Patriots to win outright. So, but
Yeah,
this is Sox pick. Sox taking the Steelers -1.5. I'm not sure if anybody in the chat would agree or disagree. I don't like this pick. I don't like the Steelers. I don't think they're a good team, and it's no disrespect. Um, you picked them to win less than what 6.5 or 7.5. I think it was 7.5.
I think it was 7.5. I said I don't have them winning more than 7 games.
Yeah. So I mean, and I kind of agree with you. I didn't take it. I didn't take that pick when we did our over unders this year, but I agreed with you. I just don't think they're that good. Their defense is good. The defense, the defense can win them games, right? But offensively, I just don't see it. It's
Yeah.
still early in the season. We'll see. But Sock surprisingly taking the Steelers when he hates the Steelers, and he kind of roots for New England because he's a Red Sox fan. So
Stop trying to.
I'm very
He's
intrigued
trying
as
to
to
make us
why
some.
he takes this.
He's trying to make us some ground. He said, "Hold up, Thomas and Free is in first place. I gotta make us some ground. Let me take some picks I normally wouldn't take."
And he had a bad week last week. Last week he went 1-2, so
Right.
he's due. He's due to have a good week. But I just don't like that pick. I don't like the Steelers. Um,
Right.
that's it for our picks. But I want to point out one other game today. I think it might be one of the best games of the day besides the Eagles and Rams. But the Broncos at the Chargers is a very very good game. That's a division game. Um,
Yeah.
both
That.
teams, I believe, both are 2-0.
Yeah.
The Broncos won. No, the Broncos won week one. I think they did win week one.
Yeah. They won week one.
Yeah,
They,
they struggled. They struggled, but they won. Yeah,
they didn't play well, but they won.
yeah. No, the Broncos are 1-1.
Or they
Yeah, they
lost.
they lost week one. Who did they play week one? Yeah, I remember that was. They lost to the Colts. Did they lose to the Colts? Damn, I can't remember who they lost to. But yeah, they definitely underachieved week one, whether they won or lost. I'm gonna go look into it right now because
Yeah. That's surprising because I thought they won week one.
yeah, they're 1-1. Who did they lose to week one? I'm gonna check it right now. I'm very shocked. Um, but I remember them not playing well week one. Hold on one second. Oh, they lost. They
Yeah.
lost to Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee.
No, no, they lost last week. Sorry, they won. They beat Tennessee. They struggled with Tennessee last week, but 2 weeks ago in week one, they beat Tennessee, but it was a struggle. They won 20-12. But last week was the game. Yeah, they lost to the Colts. The Colts beat them twenty-nine
That's what it
twenty-eight.
was.
That's what it
That's what
was.
it was.
Okay, yeah. So I
That's the
mixed
game I
that up.
meant to take. I meant to take the Colts game because I think the Colts is going to obliterate um what's the place? What's the squad they playing against? I was looking at it earlier and I was going to
Well, I'll
place a
tell you
bet
now.
on
I was scared to touch that game. They play the Titans, but it's at Tennessee.
it. Right, they play the Titans. I said the coach is going to demolish the Titans. Dog.
They they're playing well. The Colts.
I told you that was my sleeper team that might end up winning the division.
Well, you know what happens when these giant quarterbacks go somewhere else. So I mean, Daniel Jones has been off to a great start, especially running the
Yeah.
ball, and they're putting up points. The Colts. They're running the ball well. They're doing everything right defensively. They're playing right. Um, that's not a bad pick. I just don't like taking road favorites that much. I just try to stay away from road teams that are favorite. You know what I'm saying? So because those games could be closer than the spreads, that usually Vegas puts those spreads right on point, and you lose those games by a half a point. So Tennessee could lose the game, but they could cover and only lose by three. So I like to stay away from road favorites. That was one game I looked at as well, but I was like, I'm not touching it. But that game, the Broncos and Chargers, the Broncos are playing at the Chargers. The Chargers have played well both weeks. Last week they didn't really have a clean game last week because I thought they should have blow out the Raiders. But they're
Oh,
playing good ball. I think Harbaugh has coached them well. He's made
see, I
he's
made
made
my
this
pick.
guy Herbert look really really good.
I made my pick on sleeper and see the Colts was one of the teams that I picked on the sleeper app. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers was the other team, and the Baltimore Ravens was the other team.
Okay, so you could change it. You could put the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm about to change it because I'm not taking Baltimore. I think Baltimore going to lay a goose egg.
Okay, so you got you because right now I have you for the Chiefs, the Packers, and Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I got the Colts, Tampa Bay. I think the Colts is going to demolish um, Tennessee.
So who you gonna take off from here so I could write it down? So
Uh,
you're taking the Colts over, and then
yeah, I'm taking the Colts over Tampa Bay, and I said the Colts over Tennessee. I got Tampa Bay winning, and what was the other game I had?
Yeah, you picked
Kansas.
the Packers and the Chiefs.
Uh, I'm gonna go with the Packers. I'm gonna take the Chiefs off. I'm gonna go with the
All right.
Packers.
So only BVO will take the Chiefs at -5.5. All right, that's cool. That's good. Yeah, the Colts is not a bad pick. Like I said, I just don't like taking those road favorites like that. So but I like this Broncos Chargers game is going to be a game I'm going to try to look at as much as I can when I'm not looking at the Seahawks game because I think they both play at 4 o'clock today. So
Hmm.
but that's a good that's division game. Both teams is playoff teams, playoff caliber teams. Chargers are playing very well. The Broncos defense didn't look like the Broncos defense last week, so maybe this week they show up. Chargers made some mistakes. Want to know what they're going to do with that rookie running back, who fumbled. That was a very bad fumble he did at the end of the game, giving the Raiders a chance. Um, Wonder what they're going to do with them if they're going to go to Dobbins and give him more touches. So very intrigued in that game. That's the other game of the week. So you got the Kansas City. I mean, not Kansas City. You have the Eagles and the Rams. That's probably the game of the week on Sunday. And then tomorrow night is a big game. Lions at the Ravens. That's a potential Super Bowl matchup. A
Yep.
fantasy Super Bowl matchup. Both teams are Super Bowl favorites to make it to the Super Bowl. So
Well,
other than that, the
you,
games this week pretty solid competitive games.
I mean,
Intrigued. A lot of backup quarterbacks are getting to start this week because of injuries.
me and Marky Band is the game of the week on our fantasy
Oh yeah, yeah.
because
You guys got a $20 bet on that game. You guys made a bet on that game, right?
yeah, we made a bet that he had three people play Thursday night, and he's up 40 points. I ain't had nobody play, but
Hmm.
he got 40 points out of the three people that he had played. But I'm not tripping off that because 40 points is nothing for my squad.
Oh shit.
I mean,
Oh
you
shit.
65.
Well, I'm not one to talk because in that fantasy league I am 0-2, so I will let you guys battle it out, and I will be a cheerleader for no one.
I
So
mean, it's Monkey Dan. He skated away with a win over BBO, and
yeah,
that's BBO.
I play BVO this week. I better get that win this week.
No,
Uh,
BBO. I'm gonna tell you what you got to do. All you got to do is say BBO. We going long, and he's gonna give up the touchdown every time.
Damn, man, that's fucked up. But let me end this real quick, guys. I appreciate you, D Free. So, guys,
No
those are my
problem,
picks
man.
this week. I'm gonna read it off to you guys. If you guys making your picks or doing your parlays, last week we did good here at the Sports Talk Network. Only person that had a bad week was Socrates, and Socrates usually does well with these picks overall for the year. So that doesn't mean you have to fade him, but. The hot hands, me, BVO, and D Free hot hands. BVO went 3-0 last week. D Free went 3-0 last week, and I went 3-0 last week. So let's just read out the picks. D Free this week is taking the Colts -3.5, the Packers -9.5, and the Tampa Bay Bucks -7.5. Sock is going with his team. He is a Raiders fan. He's taking the Raiders +3.5. He's taking the Rams +3.5, and he's taking the Steelers -1.5. 1.5. Then my picks. I went 3-0 last week, looking to go 3-0 this week. I'm taking my Seattle Seahawks. I am a Seahawks fan, -7.5 against the Saints. I like Carolina getting 4.5 at home versus the Falcons, and I like the Bears. The Bears -2 versus the Dallas Cowboys. BVO, I believe, picked the Packers, Tampa Bay, and Kansas City. So if you guys are trending these picks, doing your parlays, or maybe just watching to see how hot and cold we are, and then make your picks with us maybe in week 5 or 6 when we're killing it very well. But these are our picks. Mark it down, book it. These lives don't go anywhere. These videos don't get taken down. So if we lose, we eat our crow and take our L's. But I promise you, we don't take many L's here. So with that being said, thank you, D Free, for coming up. Join us
Yeah, no
tonight.
problem,
Tonight,
man.
tonight, Tales of the B Side is back. After the week off, we got a special guest in the building. Make sure you stay tuned for that one. and then maybe a pop-up live in between or afterwards. I think VVO is going live tonight. Marky Dan's going live tonight. Sports Talk Network, the People's Network. Peace out, everybody. Hope you guys enjoy your football Sunday. We'll catch you on later tonight at 7 o'clock.
Dude.